Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really fascinating journey up the 10 distinct levels of human wealth. We'll explore what it actually takes to climb from the absolute bottom to the very top. And spoiler alert, it's not just about the numbers in your bank account.
I want you to stop and question your own assumptions for a second. If you had to guess right now, what wealth level are you really living in? Most of us instantly put ourselves in one specific bracket. But you know what's crazy? The data suggests the vast majority of us actually get it completely wrong.
Yeah, almost everyone thinks they're middle class, but the reality of what actually defines these levels might completely blow your mind. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you won't be guessing anymore. You'll know exactly where you stand, what separates each level from the next, and exactly what it takes to break through to that higher tier.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. We are going to start with the wealth illusion, then move through the survival trap and the middle-class matrix before crossing into affluence. Finally, we'll hit the apex of wealth and arrive at the true meaning of it all. It is a journey from pure survival to absolute freedom.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the wealth illusion, understanding the ladder. Because before we can climb, we really need to understand the structure we're actually standing on.
The wealth ladder isn't just a straight line of making more money. It's a 10-level progression where moving up requires an entirely different mindset. What got you out of level 2 might actually be the exact thing that traps you in level 4. It's like a giant puzzle where you constantly have to rewrite the rules of how you view money, time, and value. Climbing isn't just about grinding harder.
That brings us to the foundation of the ladder. Section 2, the survival trap, extreme poverty and poverty.
At these initial levels, there is practically zero mental bandwidth for planning out your future. Level 1 is extreme poverty. This is a grueling day-to-day survival mode, where the biggest challenge is literally securing basic food and shelter. And getting around usually means walking or a very transient lifestyle. Step up to level 2, poverty, and the mindset shifts to a paycheck-to-paycheck existence. We're talking zero savings, constant debt, renting the absolute minimum, and relying heavily on public transit. The daily grind here is just completely consumed by the fight to survive without any systemic advantages.
But check out this really subtle mindset shift between the two. In level 1, the focus is entirely on surviving today. In level 2, people start looking just slightly further ahead, hoping to afford tomorrow. It's a tiny, microscopic shift in how they view time, but it's absolutely crucial. It's the first real step up the ladder.
All right, here is where everything changes. Section 3, the middle-class matrix, the comfort trap. This is the most populated and definitely the most misunderstood tier on the entire ladder. Look at how the rules of the game change across levels 3, 4, and 5. In the lower middle class at level 3, you're probably renting and sticking to a strict budget, fighting incredibly hard to escape consumer debt. Move up to the true middle class at level 4, and boom, suddenly there's a mortgaged home and shiny finance cars in the driveway. By level 5, the upper middle class, you're living in a beautiful home and taking frequent vacations. But here's the hidden trap, the illusion of wealth. Your income has gone up for sure, but your high lifestyle maintenance costs and debt obligations have skyrocketed right along with it.
This is the true matrix of comfort. The reality of the middle class is a high income but a shockingly low liquid net worth. You're still directly trading your time for a paycheck. And the biggest trap? Financing luxury instead of acquiring real assets. Every single time you get a raise, you just upgrade your lifestyle. You buy a nicer car or get a bigger house. You are effectively running on a treadmill that's disguised as an escalator, sweating to pay for a life that looks wealthy on the outside without actually building any true wealth on the inside.
So how do we get off that treadmill? That brings us to Section 4, crossing into affluence. This is about breaking the gravitational pull of the middle class completely.
This is exactly where the rich start thinking totally differently. The middle-class mindset is all about earning through physical labor and time, right? You put in the hours, you get the check. But the affluent mindset completely flips the script. They stop selling their time and focus on earning through capital, assets, and ownership. They build systems that make money independently of their own physical effort.
You can really see this play out in real life in levels 6 and 7, affluent and upper affluent. A level 6 business owner transitions from working in their business to managing it. They own the bakery instead of actually baking the bread. Their biggest advantage is prioritizing capital over labor. By level 7, the upper affluent, passive income completely covers their lifestyle. Their daily routine isn't about paying bills anymore, it's about multiplying major assets and scaling investments. Their money is working relentlessly for them, even while they sleep. If you want to know how people actually make that leap out of the middle class, it requires 4 strict shifts in your daily habits. 1. You absolutely have to stop trading time for money. 2. Drastically lower your lifestyle inflation, which means stop buying liabilities just to look rich. 3. Acquire income-producing assets like real estate or equity. And 4. Learn to leverage capital and other people's time. That is the true blueprint for crossing the threshold.
Okay, prepare yourself because the biggest surprise is still coming. Section 5, the apex of wealth, millionaire to billionaire.
$1 million. For a lot of people, hitting that net worth is the ultimate dream, and it puts you right at level 8. But what's wild is that on the wealth ladder, this is literally just the beginning of the apex. The gap between a $1 million net worth and level 10 is astronomically wide. To put it into perspective, 1,000,000 seconds is about 11 days. 1,000,000,000 seconds? That's 31 years. That is the sheer mathematical and psychological chasm we are crossing right now. Just look at how exponential this jump is. Level 8, the millionaire, achieves complete financial independence and total comfort with the luxury cars to match. But jump to level 9, the multimillionaire, and the mindset completely shifts toward building a generational legacy, utilizing extreme leverage and private travel. Then we hit level 10, the billionaire. Here it is all about global impact and influence. We're talking fleets, jets, and resources so massive that the daily routine shifts from managing money to literally managing society itself.
And what truly separates the apex levels from the rest of us is time. For the absolute wealthiest, a massive 40% of their mindset allocation is dedicated purely to time freedom, and 35% goes to high-level asset management. Only a tiny fraction, about 10%, is spent on anything resembling daily labor. They aren't working harder in the traditional sense. Their days are heavily weighted towards strategy, legacy, and pure autonomy.
Which leads to this profound realization: at the apex levels, money totally ceases to be a tool for survival. It ceases to be a tool for buying comfort. It becomes a tool for bending reality. Their extreme leverage literally lets them shape industries, economies, and the entire world around their specific vision.
So, after climbing all 10 steps, from extreme poverty all the way to the billionaire apex, we arrive at our final section, the true meaning and the ultimate metric of this entire journey. It all boils down to this one really powerful truth. Wealth is not about luxury, it is about freedom, ownership, and choices. True wealth is definitely not that finance sports car in the driveway or the designer clothes in the closet. Those are usually just the traps of the middle-class matrix. True wealth is having absolute, unshakable control over your own time and the autonomy to live life entirely on your own terms.
So how do you actually apply this? Keep these key takeaways in mind. First, identify your current level realistically. Don't let your ego put you higher than your liquid net worth actually says you are. Second, changing levels requires changing mindsets, not just putting in more hours at work. Third, you've got to stop financing comfort and start buying assets that produce income. And finally, never forget that ultimate wealth simply equals time freedom.
I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Which level are you realistically aiming for next? And what specific mindset will you change today to help you get there? The ladder is standing right in front of you, and that next step is completely yours to take. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep climbing, and I'll see you next time.